Hello, and my name is Matt Shear. I'm with PMA Practice Transitions. I help dental professionals buy and sell practices in Ohio and Western PA. And my colleague here.
I'm Joe Gordon, and I do the same in Indiana and Northern Kentucky.
Great.
And what's our lovely topic today, Matt?
Our topic today is don't fight over petty things and kill goodwill.
We see it happen all the time.
All the time.
When we get down to the brass tacks on some of these transactions, it's the smallest, littlest thing that can totally just destroy the whole deal.
Yeah.
We've seen numerous examples of it. One that jumps to mind is I was representing a seller, and the buyer's CPA wanted to argue with me on the value of the waiting room furniture. I told him I didn't care. I told him he could take it to the parking lot, set it on fire. That's not what they were buying.
Right.
That is not the value of the practice. That is what is going to kill goodwill, is arguing over little things like that.
Absolutely. And keep in mind that the most important thing, or what you're buying, not only cash flow, is the goodwill of the practice, right? And I think a lot of times we see a lot of the, rub, if you will, is the allocation of goodwill versus assets in a dental practice.
Yes.
A lot of people, a lot of buyers, CPAs, want that asset allocation to be a lot higher because it benefits them,
right,
obviously. But you have to be realistic.
That.
Yeah.
Well, why is the asset allocation important? Because if I buy a table, I buy a chair, I get to write that off for taxes over a much shorter period than goodwill. The goodwill of a practice, you're typically going to write off over 15 years.
Right.
So the more that you can allocate to those short-lived assets and get the write-off faster, time value of money on paying taxes, it really helps.
But you have to be realistic about the value of those assets, because most dental practices, or most sellers' dental practices, the chairs are a little bit older. They're not going to be worth what a brand new chair is worth, so you got to be careful.
You got to be realistic about it.
You
can go out to Dental Town and look in their classifieds and see what the value of some of this stuff is on the aftermarket, and there's not a whole lot there. I mean, even the lenders understand that they're lending against cash flow. There are no physical assets. It's not like a collateralized transaction. Right. So that's the asset you're really buying, is that goodwill. So let's not do little dumb things to ruin that.
Yeah, and I think you need to have a conversation with the selling doctor, and typically what we'll do is sit down with the buyer and seller and go through and hash out all those things up front, talk about them. I always say that everything in a deal is negotiable, right? But let's negotiate all the little items before attorneys and everybody get involved, so that way everybody walks away knowing exactly where they're at on the deal. And my philosophy is, if the buyer can leave a little bit on the table and the seller can leave a little bit on the table, then we've created a win-win for both.
Sure.
Right? It should never be one-sided.
No.
So don't let the little things get in the way of a sale of a practice, and more so having that seller pass on the goodwill of the practice, because without the goodwill, you've got nothing.
You have nothing. I mean, let's get the your favorite painting hangs in the lobby. Let's make sure we exclude that.
Right.
Let's not the buyer come in and there's a big empty spot on the wall
and nobody's talked about it.
And nobody's talked about it.
Right.
You have a desk in your office that you're absolutely in love with for some reason, and you want to take it to your house. Let's go ahead and get things like that out there.
That's right.
It comes down to, if you're going to, say, employ a seller after the fact,
yes,
we're not going to pay someone who's been in this profession, 30 plus years usually.
25% of collections.
Yeah, we're not going to pay them like they just came straight out of dental school.
Right.
No.
So
it's little things like that can blow up deals. It's sellers that become unreasonable on lease terms if they're going to lease the facility back to you. Little things like that. Let's get out of the way. Let's get them all up front so none of us are surprised.
I agree. good segment on the little things that can kill a deal. Please, make sure that you're looking at those things. You're talking about those things up front so that the deal, you don't get all the way down the road. I always say when a deal falls apart, the only people that get paid in the deal or win are the attorneys, because they're going to get paid no matter what. So with that, we appreciate your time. If you like us, please give us the thumbs up, and let your colleagues and friends share it with them. Thank you.